The language we speak, or we are more familiar with, makes more sense to us. We are born with no sense of language and learn to speak. It's just because we live in a certain social environment. As English is hard to understand or speak for a native Arabic speaker, the same goes for English speakers. But is there a scale to measure the complexity of a language? Well, there may not be a certain benchmark. What we have is a list of 10 most complex languages in the world. Make sure you watch the video till the end, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Number 10. Hungarian. Most languages are understood by their word order used in the sentence, like those you hear right now. Take this for an example. I had a sandwich. It makes sense, delivers the message, and easy to understand for us. But what if I said, I had a sandwich, or sandwich had I? It makes no sense to us who speaks or understands English. Hungarian is a language with a random word order. This adds to the language's complexity as you have to add extra details to your sentence to clarify the purpose. Due to the reason, Hungarian is one of the most complex languages for English speakers. Number 9. Says. Even the name makes no sense, at least not to us. Natives speak this language of the Caucasus Mountains in southern Russia. It is known for its number of cases, meaning an object can change into a subject. While most languages have 6 cases, this language has 25 times more. There are roughly 13,000 people who speak the language, and if you want to learn says, you have to find your way around 152 different ways of using a pronoun as it can change the meaning of a sentence entirely. Number 8. Mbedel. This language is spoken in Saharan Africa, and the main factor that makes this language hard to grasp is the number of class nouns. People who speak English do not understand that because we don't have any. In many languages, nouns are separated into different categories, and the verbs that those nouns perform change depending on what category that noun falls into. For example, in Spanish, nouns are all either masculine or feminine, and verbs end differently depending on whether it's a male thing or a female thing. Indebel, for example, has 16 classes, including one just for names. Number 7. English. English is a mixture of Latin, Germanic, and Celtic languages. It is known for having numerous thesaurus entry-like words similar to other words. Still, it communicates entirely different meanings because the historical roots are so different, leading to a richer vocabulary to choose from compared to other languages. The Oxford English Dictionary, for example, has over 600,000 words. Number 6. Javanese. There are certain forms of addressing people in many languages depending on their status, like sir or madam in English. A handful of languages take this to its end, with entire languages reserved for addressing royalty or a small handful of socio-political elites in society. Some Austronesian languages had chief languages, used for speaking to or about the chiefs and kings. And some had certain words that were forbidden to commoners altogether. Remnants of this special vocabulary are still alive in Javanese, with its legacy giving these particular words a particular gravitas. Number 5. Adnyamathena. A lot of languages use distinct words to address someone formally or informally. For example, in French, it is you for friends and family, and vous is you for strangers. And the form you use also changes the form of the verbs attached to it. The Aboriginal languages of Australia are known for taking this to the next degree. Not only do they have the standard formal and informal ways of referring to people, but they also have different forms for different roles in kinship and social groups. In Adnyamathena, you can be 10 different words depending on the kinship relationship of the person being referred to, making this language one of the most complex ones to learn. Oh, and why don't you try saying Adnya Mathena 10 times fast? I know I can't. It's a miracle I can say it at all. Number 4. Ubik. English has 26 letters that form 44 different phonemes. But some languages have fewer sounds. For example, Rotokas, a language spoken in Papua New Guinea Island, has 12 letters for 11 sounds. On the other hand, Te is spoken by a couple of thousand people in Botswana, and it is up to 200 different sounds. Most of them, some make clicking sounds. Ubik is an extinct Caucasus language with over 80 different consonants, more than any other non-click language. Like many other Caucasus languages, Ubik is high on consonants but low on vowels. In fact, it has only 2, showing the distinct variety of different sounds that can be used daily for communication. Number 3. Nuchano. Known as Nootka, Nuchano is a Wakashan language in the Pacific Northwest of North America on the west coast of Vancouver Island. Indigenous peoples speak this language of the Pacific Northwest coast. This language is quite complex in comparison to English or other common languages. For example, the Inupiaq language has 70 different terms for ice or snow. The native Sami people of the northern Finland have over 1,000 words for reindeer. Similarly, the Nushano, living in the Pacific Northwest, have 15 different words for salmon. Like in English, we use variations on the same name to differentiate between subspecies like sockeye salmon or spring salmon. The Nushano have a unique word for each slightly different type of salmon. Number 2. Bora. Noun classifiers are words attached to particular nouns. This concept is difficult to grab on for native English speakers. For example, instead of saying 3 trees, they say a specific word to identify 3 trees. One of the few examples in English is instead of saying 3 candies, we say 3 pieces of candy. The Bora language, spoken by a few thousand indigenous people deep in the Amazon rainforest, have the most recorded classifiers on Earth at more than 350. Number 1. Tuyuka. Tuyuka, on the scale of linguistic complexity, is a fairly difficult language, but what really sets it apart from others we have seen is that its verbs have suffixes and indicates how the speaker knows what they have just said. For example, whether they assume it or whether they say it with their own eyes, these explanations are not optional. To make matters worse or better, it goes against some social norm to not state why you think something, but rather, it doesn't even make grammatical sense to do so. Epistemological justifications permeate literally every single statement. For this reason, in 2009, The Economist judged this the most difficult language in the world. I hope you found today's video useful. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Also, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one.